Okay, I think that's us ready. Alright, hello, welcome to a day 76 of Naruto goodness, where we're gonna get straight into things, and if I sound like I've just woken up, probably because I have just woken up. But other than that, we're just gonna get straight into things. I've literally got no updates beyond last night. So it's just gonna be, and I've just noticed something. Because these two versions of Sasuke have the exact same clothes, it has to, even though they're two different versions or two distinct characters in the roster, two distinct versions, it has to give them different colours because they're too similar. Interesting. Yet another thing I've now learned about this game. Lovely jubbly. Today with me, in terms of roll call, I have a cup of tea, lovely jubbly, and I only have with me one giant cup of water. So that is, oh yeah, that's too big, and I'm about to spill it all over something, but we're good. Oh no, I managed. I thought we were going to get through unscathed, but no, my PS5 controller was not left unscathed. Anyway, we're good. At least it's just water. Oh my god, I kind of dig the colour of his, like the secondary colour, the darker purple. I'm digging that way more than the normal one. There we go. Right, that should be it. Lovely. Gorgeous. Okay, that one down. Then we've got Yamato and... I saw... That was it, I remembered. Was I doing a quiz? I think no, I was. I was on Sporkle. Wow. And I was doing a quiz. And it was... like they call it like a name chain or something, where it's like, oh, who's the main character? And you're like, oh, Naruto. And then they're like, whose rival is, and then into that is like, who is drawing the affections of, and then Sakura, and then like, whose sensei is Kakashi, whose rival is, you know, and it goes on, goes on, goes on. And then it got to someone. Oh, that's right. It got to like Hidan and Kakuzu. So you put in like who was defeated by the Rasen Shuriken, and so you put Kakuzu, and then oh no, sorry, no, it wasn't. It was who's Shikamaru beat. So you put in Hidan, and then it's whose partner in the Akatsuki was, and then you say Kakuzu, and then it says who was defeated by the Rasen Shuriken, taught to Naruto by blank. And for some reason in my mind, I'd always thought that it was Asuma, but then I'm just like, hang on, that can't be right, because Asuma's dead at that point. And that's the whole crux of them even fighting them in the first place. So I'm like, who else is it? I could not, for the life of me, work out who it is. But it's Yamato. Yamato's the one that teaches him the Rasen Shuriken. Helps him learn it anyway. supervisors. There we are. Oh, there's a lovely temperatured cup of tea. And Sasuke to like shutting down. What you looking for at Torpedo 7? Wow. If I can get him in one beans, I was about to say, get him in one more jutsu and that'd be it, but no, that's right, I'll end it with the demon wind. Hey, Wesley, what up? Nothing is up much. Hopefully my mic's okay. It's either not, I think I've moved it away from that because it was popping like crazy, but let me know if it's too quiet. But no, how are you? How are things? How is life? Can't hear? Okay, that's all good. I'll move it a little bit closer. Hopefully that's alright. And I can always move the game music down as well. Is that better? Bad. Bad. Anyway, how are you? How is life? What have I got next? I've got a lot of Sasuke's in this one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Ooh. Ooh, pray do tell. Have you finished the story, or if not, whereabouts are you up to? I'm just thinking, after your big plot twist reveal, it's not too long after that you end up doing the final battle, I think. If I remember correctly. Could be wrong. In God of War Ragnarok, after you've hit the big, oh my goodness, plot twist towards the end, is it like you pretty much straight after you then start your assault on the it's like pretty much straight after. Yeah, okay. just got Fenrir back. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, so I think it's because you go to Helheim and you get Fenrir. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Atreus takes you back, and you, yeah. Oh nice. Oh nice. Oh, and speaking about Fenrir, because I thought that there was pretty cool about the because I completely missed it. I completely didn't even realize how they managed to get Fenrir back, and then because I completely forgot that that right at the beginning of the game, his soul went into the dagger. I completely forgot that was even a thing. Or at least maybe Angerboda comments on it, I think. Oh my god, Sasuke is just not letting us have this. Okay, goodness. Yeah, because I had because I completely forgot that. Maybe I was just thinking of late. I was just so wrapped up in the excitement of their game, but I just completely. There was so many things I just did not pick up on until the boy was like, how did you not realize that?" And I'm like, I didn't. But I think what they've done with, because some people had, the Norse mythology is questionable, but also at the same time the boy had a pretty good, I suppose, theory on real life mythology, is because people are like, oh my goodness, how the hell are they going to do Fenrir and Jormungandr and all that? Because, in the mythology, Loki gives birth to them, turns into, gives birth to them in the literal sense. Oh my god, that's crazy, that's icky. But then, and then this game obviously takes the I suppose the other meanings of the word birth, when you birth something, you give creation to, or it doesn't literally mean birth. So, technically, Atreus did give birth to Fenrir in his current form, and all that jazz. So they've kind of he's still technically given birth to them, but just in a different sort of way. But then the boy was like, why don't we apply that logic backwards? What if historians have gotten it wrong this entire time, and he never actually literally gave birth? That was just a complete mistranslation, and they actually meant that he just did it in a not weird way. And we've been going for the icky interpretation incorrectly this whole time. But anyway. No, he was. So, if you think about how did historians come to or make the assumption, or when they're digging up all these Viking relics, when they're looking at all these Viking relics and stories and blah blah blah, they would have had to translate it. And so when it gets to the bit when it gets to the little bit where Loki is given birth to these peeps, is given birth to Fenrir and Jormungandr and all that. When the historians were translating it, they're like, oh, that word means birth, and that word means something. Oh my god, this is so creepy. He's like, this must mean that Loki turned into a wolf or was just a normal dude, but then suddenly births out a giant snake. You know, they came to that assumption based on what they were translating, but actually the whole time they just mistranslated the word birth, and actually the Vikings did literally mean that Loki was just, you know, he could manipulate souls, and he could, you know, put giant souls into other animals, or the kind of the more normal, more whatever kind of interpretation that the game went to. Like, yeah, it had to have historians been mistranslating what the Vikings meant by birth this entire time. That sort of thing. If that all makes sense. Yeah. And Cynthius, what up? Ooh, big cook day. Go for it. I hope you cook up a storm. I hope it's delicious. But don't lurk away. Thank you very much. And best of skill in the kitchen. And who's that just playing? I did that in the Troy movie. Oh my god, it's been ages since I've seen that. Like, in what sort of ways? Because I know that they would have had to. I know the Greek and Greek history and all that's a bit it's a bit than anything else. So they have to play that down for modern audiences. Yeah. No, because I think they based off of the. Did they base it off of the Iliad? Yeah, because in classics class at school we had to, we had to read the Iliad, and it's like, you know, when the whole when the city's being destroyed, it's like Ares and Poseidon and everyone's all chipping in. They're all, you know, Athena's helping them out, destroy towers, and, you know, Ares and Hermes or whatever are just, you know, destroying buildings left, right and centre. I'm like, I don't think that might have been quite what happened, but even though obviously that's not in the film, but yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, and there's also, I don't know, speaking as someone who loves fantasy stuff, there's always, you know, having kind of fantasy mystical elements and something is always more interesting than actual reality. You know, I'd love to think that, oh my god, we've got like giant gods helping us destroy the city rather than bringing the water guns, you know. There's something a bit, yeah. It's more exciting having fantasy stuff, so if you can, then why not? What they should have done, and I know they wouldn't because it's an American film, but what they should have done is done a complete 180 on like Helen of Troy, and been like they've cast a different actress. Like they've gone for someone who doesn't look traditionally attractive, because then they can do then the meta commentary of, you know, when they say, oh, she's the most beautiful woman alive, they meant inside. She's the most beautiful woman inside, and she's just super, super kind. She doesn't look, you know, traditionally attractive, or what I'm gonna say what Americans would consider, but she is the kind of soul, and that's why they should have done a little subversion of that. Come on. There we go. Goodness gracious me. The AI today has just decided to be trying to avoid every attack day, much to my ire. Okay, we're still making goodish time. Oh, and because at the moment, they've got PAX East going on. At the and there's lots of GC. I'm trying to avoid as much as I can, I guess. Or anything that looks to be gameplay and or story related. I want to kind of avoid the FF16. But one thing I did see is, because they've mentioned that it was sort of your main character, you kind of play him in different parts of his life, I think. But because there's like I imagine the prologue is when he's in his teens, I think. But then in but then you play in other ages. But it looks like you play him in his teens, his 20s, and then it jumps to his 30s as well. So there's big time jumps throughout the game, which I'm very curious as to what. Like, I kind of get what I kind of think the jump between the teens and the 20s is they've already sort of hinted at in the trailers anyway. But the jump between the 20s and the 30s is, I'm very interested to know what's happening there. But I'm not interested to know before I play. I want to know when I play the game. So I'm trying to avoid as much as I can. And then someone, when they were doing a Q&A, I think for the FF14, on the FF14 panel, they were asking Yoshi P, they were asking him about, are they going to do a crossover event between 14 and 15? And he's like, I would love that to happen. I'll need to ask the I'll need to ask the producer of FF16 if they'd be keen for it. You know, I hear he's here at PAX, so I'll just have to go and find him sometime, and I'll let you know. And then apparently some people didn't yet realize that he was saying this all in complete jest, because the meme of course I know him, he is me, that meme was circulating, and some people didn't even realize. I bet the person who actually no, the person who asked would have obviously known, but there were a lot of people in the audience that kind of didn't. They thought that he was avoiding the question, not realizing that he's just, yeah. Anyway, explained that very badly, but. Lovely. And Roshi. Try to do Fireball Jutsu. And that one. You say I'll melt your face off. Oh no, I'll melt your flesh. There we go. Lovely. Right, who we got next? Ino and Lee. Okay, these should be faster fights. Actually, no. Every time I say that, it ends up being the wrong way. These are going to be the slowest fights ever in the history of this entire thing. Right. There we go. Bam. Did you manage to find your single person tent, Ben? Oh really? Oh. Alright. Yeah, well, I probably wouldn't get it from Torpedo 7. Oh, right. Get it from Kathmandu. Yeah. Yeah, fair. Or maybe it could be like a reverse thing, and actually the one from the warehouse is the best quality one. that's right. So I had a work colleague, and so they had an iPhone that they bought through, they got through work, and one day it just died on them, and so they took it to some shop in town, which is like the only certified Apple store in town, and so he gave it into them. He didn't hear back from them for a fair bit, so he gave them a ring and said, hey, so what's happened to my phone? And they said, oh, we tried to give you a call on your on the number. And he's like, you tried to call my phone that's in with you for repair? Okay. Anyway, where's my phone at? And they're like, oh, so, you know, we're still looking into it, but it seems to be, yeah, it's screwed. So he's like, okay, whatever. Finally gets the invoice from them on email, and suddenly like they want to charge him like $950 for, and he's like, why the hell does, like, it would be $950 to check out what's wrong with my phone. And then so he reads the description, and it's basically like it's a system stability error. You know, so the phone like works, but at any point it can just like give out. And then they said, so a replacement unit is required, but then they're gonna go send it to Apple for further assessment. So then he's like, hang on a second, do I need a replacement handset, or do I need for it to go and get more service? Like, what? But then they were charging him for the sending to Apple to do the Apple assessment. And so, and also I think they were charging him for a replacement handset or something like that. They were charging him, they were saying one thing, but then charging him for something else. And so he called them up, he's like, what the hell is this? And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, that wasn't like the proper invoice, that was just a quote, like an estimate. And he's like, what is going on? So long story short, I think he managed to get things escalated to in Apple itself, and now they're doing something, can't remember exactly, but I just couldn't, like, I'm like, I really hope that there was just someone who's on like week one, they're fresh out of high school and they're week one of the job, because just the utter the brain neurons that didn't fire when they're like, we'll call them on the number of the phone that we're currently servicing. This guy just couldn't, my colleague just couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it at all. He's like, this utter incompetence. And then the fact that they were going to charge him for the service and for the replacement unit, but then say that he needed to replace it, but then also at the same time he needs an extra service. It's just, I'm just like, well, to be honest, as the only Apple certified service people in the whole city, I think they probably feel like they can get away with quite a lot, because they'll be like, oh well, who else are you going to go to? So I'm just like, bruh, you just got to get an Android and then you'll be all goods. But then I suppose it's then, because he said, oh, as much as I'd like to, I can't really, because my Apple, I've got all my Apple ID stuff and everything's done through my Apple ID, which I suppose is I wouldn't say it's a problem with brand loyalty as such, but it can be the one downside to things like your Google account and your Apple ID is that you're kind of, once you start building your life around it, or sort of adding little extra components from your life to it, it's harder to stop. It's harder to leave, essentially. Like if everything's on your Apple ID, it's harder to get. Well, not harder to get an Android, but it's a lot more hassle to get an Android, because then you've got to switch everything over. And then there'll be that one account that you forgot that's still on it. No, this should be.
I will be the pillar that supports their bridge of peace. Shikigami dance.
I would have thought she would have had a unique one for him. Maybe not. Normal 10-10, ugh, and Peter Masked Man. Armadillo. Yeah, lovely. Oh, screw it. God, I can just 10-10 just does so little damage. It's a miracle I managed to do that within 6 counts. Within 39 counts, actually, I think. But what I do actually need to have a look through in my spreadsheet says that are there any characters that I'm close to doing every fight with them. Get another drink. Get along. Okay, now we've got Roshi and Young 10-10. Oh my goodness, like, and I want to have a look if there is anyone that I'm close to doing every fight with them, because I really don't want to do fights with Kankuro and 10-10 if I can help it, because they are just absolutely slow as all hell. And just the way that their moveset is, it's very easy to dodge all of their attacks. Or just, like, guarding negates pretty much all of their attacks. There we go, lovely. And 10-10. Roshi. Fabulous. I'm gonna do one more. No. Got one more now. No. There we go. Lovely. Now one explosive tag should do this. There we are. Fabulous. Alright, now I've got Asuma. No, I've got Naruto, Toad, and Hinata. That's what I need to do. Hang on a second. Okay, hang on. Something I don't... There was a move that when I was doing a fight against this, he did that, the Rasengan Marriage, but then sort of like spun around at the end of it. How are they doing this? There are so many moves that people are doing, or that I say people, the computer's doing. I've got literally no idea how they're doing it. Maybe it's there. Maybe I've got to jump. There we go. Fabulous. Right, now I've got Asuma and Young Choji. So hopefully the fight with Young Choji goes a lot faster this time. Or fight as Young Choji, should I say. Lovely. Gorgeous. And Choji Asuma. this gonna do it? Oh, look at that beauty. Beauty, beauty. Right, I might actually just take this as an opportunity to update the list to 7, 8. So we've got 5, 3. No, not 5, 4, 3, 7, 8. Just 5, 3, 7, 8. Lovely jubbly. Right, and we've got Pain and Young Conqueror, which is gonna. I'm not gonna enjoy the second fight of these. And then do we have good ones for the rest of the sort of? Lovely, jubbly. Right. We've got Young Conqueror and Pain. Oh yeah, that's right. The other thing too I was thinking is, so this coming week I've got day off on Wednesday. Day off on Wednesday. Thursday will be able to be a normal day, but then Friday I've got a client meeting at 8 o'clock at night. Not fun. But then Saturday and Sunday is normal days. So I was just trying to work out what am I going to do in terms of what am I going to be doing in terms of what games I'm playing when. Because what I could do is I might actually do a day of EASE on Wednesday, because I won't be able to on Friday. I'll do a normal Naruto day on Thursday. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I'm despising this fight already. Oh my lordy, I'm almost just thinking, do I make this fight a write-off, because it is ridiculous. Come on, please.
Justice. You shall be brought to justice.
Great. Oh, come on. That was ridiculous. What the hell?
This is justice.
Oh, is that a chatbot? Goodness gracious, what an awful fight. Right, Utakata and Onimaru. Come on, there we are. Oh, this is awful. I'm just going to cheese it. Fabulous. Come on, got this. Okay, phew. Right, I might be able to rein back in. Will I be able to rein back in terms of the time? Because I think that fight with Kankuro and Pain completely obliterated whatever time I'd saved. So it's 56, 36. Yeah, it did. So I've got to be super fast with these fights too. Which ones have got Lee, Orochimaru, Shikamaru, and Sakura? I might be able to. Okay, lovely, lovely, lovely. Right. Now I've got 6.5 minutes to do 4 fights. Lovely. Keep going. Thank goodness he's not using substitutions. Fabulous. Okay, that fight was fast. Hey, Bull. Hello, hello. How are things? Welcome on in. How are you on this fine, lazy, I was going to say Sunday morning. Oh, thank you. Oh, after this, I might put some hashies in the air fryer. I was going to say fine, lazy Sunday morning, but it will be Saturday afternoon / evening. Shikamaru, Impact Sakura. Lovely. It's lovely. I'm glad. I'm very glad to hear that. A lazy weekend is always the best kind of weekend, especially when work's a mongrel. But no, I am well. I'm well indeed. Ooh, you'd be excited to know that, and I know it hasn't fully properly updated, but when on the Twitch dashboard thing where it's got like your overview from the last 30 days, I'm at 3.1 average viewers. So hopefully, and then in terms of like what Twitch is on record, I'm at 2.95. So it hasn't fully updated yet on that side. So it's going to be two different numbers, but I'm going to take the larger. But hopefully that might mean shortly, soon, I don't know how long it takes or whether I actually have to do something, I've hit all the affiliate numbers. I've hit all of the affiliate numbers. Active chatters. Yes, no, I've got everything. I've got everything. I've got the hours streamed. I've had the it was like 5 active chatters at the same time. I've had that. And I've got the day streamed, hours streamed, and I've just hit the average viewers. But yes, so now, but also I've been thinking the last week or so, because I've been doing a little bit like just like looking on Reddit forums and whatnot about people's experience with affiliate program, and a lot of people have been saying that they've actually stopped it because oh, thank you, the last tea was lovely. They've actually stopped affiliate because the ads were just too much of a hassle for them, because they didn't want pre-rolls, but then it was hassle for them to have to remember to manually do it every hour, which I don't think I would have too much of a problem with. Be easy enough to do, I guess. You just gotta probably set a timer on my phone. But they just hated the ad incentive program. They hated it, and they found that they preferred being off affiliate and just having emotes from like Better Tea TV and like the Stream Elements channel points. But anyway, so I was thinking, rather than just, because I'm like, oh, does that mean I want to do it? Meh. But then I think, look, I'll give it a go. I'm just excited that I've even like managed to get there, to be honest. Because the other thing too is like, because I'm not doing this for monetization, like the money side of it's like the bit I'm least in this for. Like I'm not particularly fussed about things like subs and donates and all that sort of thing. So in which case, if affiliate is just purely for monetization, and I suppose it's got like the channel points and all that sort of thing. Like that's what I'll be interested in. But so I think I'll give it a go, see how I go, and if the ads are just too if the ads are just too unwieldy and it's just not working, I'll dump it. But I think it'll just be the excitement of even just being invited to the affiliate stuff will be just an achievement in and of itself, I think. And also, I was reading, someone said that if you've gotten to affiliate within like 3 weeks, it won't be worth it. But if it's taken you a while to get it, like myself, then it will be worth it. So yeah. So anyway. Yeah. So yeah, because I've decided now that when I do, I'm gonna do the run the 3 minutes manually, just so I can disable pre-rolls, and then pray and cross your fingers that one day Twitch decides, even though they're making bad decision after bad decision lately, I hope that one day the ads are just an opt-in, opt-out system. So like, yeah, you can't get monetization on ads, but then I wouldn't be surprised if most people just stop running ads completely. But yeah, so yeah, and I suppose, and it's also, yeah, as you say, the fact that I'm like that you get paid for playing a video game is just, it's my dream, my dream. If I could, I would. It would be my dream job. Yeah. You can run ads. Oh, so I can like start the stream. Oh, but okay. So then what I'll do is I would. Oh, so I can be tactical with it, I guess. Like, right as I start, so when people, you know, because most people won't be coming in straight away, I guess. Yeah, and then I can do what you do and say, and just warn people like, hey, I'm just about to start something. Go get hydrated. Go get a cup of tea, that sort of thing. Oh, yeah, no, I suppose. I think the thing for me, because I'll need to set reminders on my phone, most definitely, because otherwise, like, an hour passes so quickly, especially when you're playing good games. An hour goes by so fast, so I'll be like before I know it, I'm like, oh my god, I need to, I need to go play another ad again. And if I think about it, because when I do my 8-hour stream, both when Zelda comes out as well as Final Fantasy, because 8 times 3 is 24, so 24 minutes of ads for an 8-hour stream isn't actually, you put it that way, that's 7.5 hours untouched, so it's not actually that bad, really. Oh, one question I do have actually. So if I do join it, in terms of like do you need to give them your bank account, or do you need to set up something like a PayPal or whatever? Because if you do have to set something up like a PayPal, I really don't want to particularly. I haven't heard anything good about PayPal. Or is it just like a direct debit to your bank account? You can do straight to the bank account? Okay. That's right then. Because then I've also got to I mean, I don't expect to get anywhere near $200 anytime soon, but I was reading the New Zealand tax laws, the NZ tax laws, and I think if I get over $200 a year for it, I think then I need to, that's when I need to now declare tax on it. So I'm going to have to make sure I read up on that. Make sure I'm not breaking the law. Then again, I'm not assuming to get anywhere near $200. I'm supposed to get like 5. But, yeah. Yeah, and I suppose the first check will always be the most exciting one. But the thing I'm most excited about is the emotes and the channel points and all that sort of thing. I'm going to be spending probably a lot of time setting all those up, getting those all looking good. $72. Oh my goodness. Because how many emote slots do you get overall? Is it like 30 or something? Oh, that's right, no, it's the young Shikamaru that's got the better one. There we go. Lovely. 24.5 animated and 19. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm gonna need to like sit down for like a week and just plan everything out. Like what we're gonna have for the different tiers and the different bit stages, and what the emotes are even going to be, and then I've got to map out all the channel points, and then if I'm going to have like ones where it has a picture or plays a sound or does something, I've got to map out all those. Oh my goodness. It'll be exciting. But knowing me, I'm gonna get what's called, I think they call it analysis paralysis. Where you get stuck in you're forever planning and you never actually put it into action. That's like my life to an absolute T. Have at least 50 subs. Alright. Honestly, don't have to. It's honestly fine. Like, seriously. Like I said, I'm not in it for money at all. So make sure that you are looked after first before you do anything with your money ball. Seriously. $5. How much is it? It's $7.99 for us, I think, for a. But then again, actually, no. Now that I think about it, with the whole whatchamacallit, with the exchange rates, probably works out to be the same anyway. Yeah, because I read about the regional pricing for it. So depending on where you are, it's cheaper or more expensive based on where you are in the world, which I find to be slightly like a bit. They mean well, but what does that say about them when they're like, oh, sorry, I don't know, sorry Pakistan, your subs are super cheap because your costs, you know, because you're because y'all don't have money, or, you know, I know it's not how that works, but I know I kind of just feel like, why not just have a flat rate for everyone? Like I suppose I get why, like they mean well in the case that will make it easier to buy subs for people who otherwise wouldn't have either as much money or their cost of living's higher. So I know it comes from a good place. Just something about it just feels like, what are you judging this on? Like, what are you judging it on? Are you looking up Google? Are you going cost of living in Turkey and then calculating it off of that? Like who's the authority on whether someone in a country can afford a Twitch sub? But anyway, I know at the moment Twitch has been making some really weird out there decisions lately, so who knows? Which I feel like a lot of it is because Amazon owns them. I feel that it's that's been the cause of a lot of issues lately, I think. Because, you know, who would have thought that a for-profit mega corporation would be doing things to maximize profits? This will be fight number 50, won't it? No, 52. Fight number 52. Have I missed a number somewhere? That's not right. No, but it is right. How is that possible? Oh yeah, true, yeah. Didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, I keep thinking of emotes as in like things that other people could use. I didn't even think about like, oh wait, I could use them too. And oh yeah. Okay, well I'm definitely getting lots of ice cream ones. I mean, lots of ice cream ones. You know, and I'm gonna brainstorm with the boy when. No, kind of easy. He's got his headphones on. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna pull him into a brainstorming session. Yeah, no, you can't hear. But there's definitely gonna be lots of ice cream ones. Yeah. Yeah, true. Oh yeah, hell yeah, Margarita Emo is #1. Fully. Most definitely. Oh my god. And in Cold Steel 2, when we meet her, because I'm going to assume that we do, because otherwise I'm going to have a tantrum if we don't. We are spamming that forever. And then, because now I need to start thinking about like other cool things to like. I need like a stream deck. I need all the fancy gears. I know I don't actually, but I need a button on that I can just push and it just spams Margarita. Yeah. So if you're subbed, you can use follow emotes in other streams. Oh, so is that the... Just so I understand that, 1 second. So that's, if you were subbed to me, you could use my follower emotes in other people's streams?
Resistance is futile. Amaterasu. Amaterasu.
Ah, gotcha. I gotcha.
Think again. Amaterasu.
No more running away.
Resistance is futile. Resistance is futile.
Already.
Okay, we've got Hashirama and Gara.
Battle begins. You can't escape.
And bam. Easy peasy. Ben. When I'm able to put emotes on my stream, we're gonna have a little brainstorming session about what those emotes should be. Yep. Because I'm totally gonna make you into an emote. Yeah. I don't know like I need to think of like the situation in which we'd use the bun emote. And Tamari. And Sasuke last. Getting close to 60. 57, fabulous.
Battle begins.
Lovely. And bam, lovely.
Out of my way, flunky.
The victor has been decided.
Alright, and one there, and that one there. So, my 3 emote ideas so far. Got one with me saying beans. One with you, and it's like a wild bun appears. So like when you appear in the background, then we spam that. And one about eating ice cream, like ice cream break or something, or like tea break. Huh? Yes, tea and biscuits maybe. Possibly. Yes. Or like stay hydrated, but it's a cup of tea rather than water. Yes. Or me doing the white person smile. Okay, I'm just going to update the list to 5-3. Update the list to 5-3-5-2. And young Niji. And young Tamari.
Battle begins.
Beauty.
Been decided.
Should not do that.
Battle begins.
Hey Michael Rich, what up? Welcome on in. How has your day been? Has it been fabulous? Sasuke, Eternal Mangekyo, and Minato. Or is it that one? And Minato. So Minato is like my favorite character to play as. He's always my go-to. But every single time I'm playing him in this whole this thing, it's always an absolutely rubbish fight that takes way longer than it needs to. I'm like, Minato, what up? You're supposed to make these fights super fast, but you're not. Really? Really? No, not as in like really you asked for a raise, but like he gave you that look. I mean, when you asked him, I'm guessing you said, you know, here's why. You're not just like, oh, can I have a raise, and that's it. Like you would have been like, oh, you know, I've been working pretty hard. You know, I've been learning lots of new things, and I think I've earned a little bit of a raise. The fact that he gave you that look is just, that's out of it. Fingers crossed though, for your sake, fingers crossed though, he emails back and was like, actually yeah. How much you want? But no, but otherwise I am doing well. I'm doing very well indeed. Although, actually, good on you though for having the for being able to ask for a raise. Because even if I thought that I'm like, you know what, I really deserve one, I would be absolutely terrified to. Like, it would be the terror of asking that would stop me. Like, I would sit on minimum wage my whole life because I'd be so scared to ask for one. Did he give you a time that he was gonna, you know, a ETA for the email, or did you say, oh, I'll just email you at some point? said to get back to me. Asked him yesterday, still waiting. Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it comes in soon. Like they say, it's the not knowing that's the most anxiety inducing. I mean, optimistically, maybe he just needs to ask his boss for permission, like he wants to, but he just has to ask his boss. Yeah. Some non-anxiety juicing. I know that the boy is, I think, possibly gonna buy it soon, maybe. Other than that, no, I've been seeing people though, putting their reactions up and saying how amazing it is. Is it still really good? Come on. Yeah. Now the only horror-y thing that I haven't been playing, because I don't play horror stuff, but the boys been playing the Dead Space remake recently, so I've been knowledging myself up on Dead Space lore. So now I can tell you everything you need to know about necromorphs and who they is and what they do, and about the markers. No, yeah, it's the markers, and then the Brethren moons. Yeah. Don't watch the Resident Evil movies. Or the Dead Space movies. No. I have not. Purely because, and probably for the same reason I'm not watching the Resident Evil ones either, is when it comes to like body horror stuff, you know, like evil gross zombie alien things with like, you know, people turning into evil monster things, and it looks very gross. Can't do it. I'll probably be off in the bathroom vomiting because I feel so ill watching it rather than anything else. So, this is why when it comes to, you know, horror games like that sort of thing, I'm very comfortable reading the lore page on the wiki in a safe, controlled environment with no, like, there's pictures, but there's no, like, there's no gross movies and animation things, like, showing zombie transformations that would just make me ill. So I know all the lore about this stuff, but I have not played the games, and I have not seen movies. So it's a weird oxymoron in that sense. Because like I find the lore of these things amazing. Like I find them really, really cool. But I just really can't do body horror. Like I just cannot do it. And yeah, just no, can't do it. Like body horror, and even more specifically, I like to call it like medical horror. Even though I know that like basically any kind of body horror or stuff that involves like surgeries, syringes, viruses, like sawing off limbs, anything to do like science experiments, like all of those sorts of things just make me even like more uncomfortable. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about them. I just it's weird. Like even things that aren't even body horror, like, but just involve that sort of subject matter. So like if say you were watching a superhero movie, something completely harmless like the Hulk or the Spider-Man stuff or anything like that. As soon as you start whipping out syringes, as soon as you take me to a science facility, a lab, my like stomach just like twists into a knot because I'm waiting for the like, oh, we've taken blood samples from a rat. Oh no, I've injected myself with rat blood. Great, I'm turning into a rat. Like, I just get really uncomfortable. So, that is, yeah, that's me. But, I'll read the wiki page. I'll read the wiki page though. I'm very happy and safe with that. But that all being said, I am glad that you're enjoying the Resi 4 remake. Because what you said there, took out the merchant's voice. Was the merchant the one who's like, he looks like Patches? Is it Patches? He looks like he's got like the weird cloak and the like hooded face. No, he doesn't look like that. He looks like Zur from Destiny. It is okay, yeah. See, never played the game, but I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, no. So in that case, then weird that they made those choices. Because you would think, and so this is what I always wonder about game companies, is they've got like community analysts and community managers and this. You would think that like a game company would have some awareness of what like the things that people are liking and disliking about their games. Like you'd think that they would just browse the forums and find out what's iconic. And so they would know that, that voice or, what he's saying would be something that people, like, recognize and like. So then the decision to take it out feels weird. Because like whenever like game sequels or anything like that, whenever they remove something that people liked or they add something in that just doubles down on something that people didn't like, I kind of just scratch my head and be like, hang on a second. You guys should have known that people would have that negative reaction to it. Fair. Yeah, true. Well, as long as the gameplay is good, then that's the main thing. Yeah. Ooh. Got to... Oh, we're in stage mode on Mount Myoboku. Ask away, my friend. Ask away. Junko and Daru. Was there a point where you... From the beginning of Eternity to the end of Eternity, I've never liked Sakura. And at no point, I think the only point that I ever changed my mind was for the fight between her and Sasori and Chio. And then as soon as that fight ended, I went back to not liking her, and it never changed since. Like, nothing she did during that whole pain arc made me go like, oh. The only thing I liked about her was in the Sasori and Chio one, is because she, you know, I don't know, there's just something about that fight that I'm like, okay, she's not too bad. Maybe it was just the work, like she worked well with Chio, but then as soon as that done, I'm like, no, don't like you. Never liked her through all of OG Naruto, never liked her through all of Shippuden other than that one fight, and that is it. I mean, I don't think there's anything Sakura could do to make me be like, oh, okay, she's a pretty cool character. Like, even if she single-handedly defeated Madara, the Ten Tails, and all that Kaguya, if she single-handedly did it, even then, I would probably say she just, you know, they were just having an off day. Like, I wouldn't like it even then. Because why do you ask? Or rather, should I say, what were your feelings / opinions? She was on another team. Fair. That's actually a really interesting way of putting it. That's actually a really interesting way of putting it. I think he's right. I think it's because when you've got her next to her useless ass next to Naruto and Sasuke, it means she's even more useless in comparison. But now I'm thinking, is there anyone, either any girl character or just anyone in general that you could swap Sakura out for, and you would still have the same opinion of them? Oh my goodness, your cousin is like, he's dropping the truth bombs. Because Hinata would have just been even more pathetic. Next to. Because then I was thinking Ino, but I'm like, no, Ino's personality would, because you don't want any big personalities, because then it'll just clash. Like the mix of personalities that they have on those other teams are so well adjusted. Like, they're so perfectly balanced. Like, you've got Ino and Choji as the big personalities on Team 10, balanced out by Shikamaru and Asuma. You've got Lee and Guy as the big personalities on that team, balanced out by Neji and Tenten. You've got Kiba, who's a really big personality, who's mellowed out by Kurenai, Shino, and Hinata. Dang. Yeah, Sakura would be. Maybe if you tacked her on. If you tacked her on to... I was thinking, who could she be tacked on to? No, even then she'd still feel like an outsider if you tacked her onto any of these three teams. Maybe this one? But then she would just feel like she's clashing too much with Kiba. And this one, she would again be overshadowed by Lee and Guy. Take her onto that one. Maybe you could have her and Ino, or just like little gal pal duo. Maybe. But that would be it, if anything. Maybe if Sakura wasn't on a team as such, but she was like she was kind of like another, just like a sort of a solo band on her own or something. Maybe that would be okay. Possibly. Oh, and thank you for the look, Wasteland. Thank you for the look. Yeah. No, she couldn't... There's no way when you're paired up with those two that you have any... I mean, other than them being completely incapacitated, there's no way that you can try. And which is probably why, in the fight with Sasori, when she doesn't have those two, that's why she could sort of shine a little bit. And that's probably why I liked her during that fight and then no other time. She didn't have like a specialization until Shippuden. And even then her specialization is just a copy of Tsunade's. Like, she didn't have anything that made her unique at all, I think. Like, every other character had something that made them unique, except her. I might be doing her a discredit in that, but I genuinely can't find anything. Like, if they had just given her something that Naruto and Sasuke didn't have, and she could either like play off of it or something. Like some sort of support role where she can either enhance what they've got or be able to contribute to fights in a way that they can't. I don't know. Just set up. Yeah, fair. Actually, fair. Yeah, because then I think what then happened was, because you set her up to be like a, you set her up to be a, I think they set her up wrong. What they should have done is done an Emma and Marcius thing, how they've done in Trails, where Emma and Marcius are like the two smartest in the class. There's not necessarily a rivalry between them, but they're both intelligent, but they can both be intelligent without needing one over the other, if that makes sense. So then what I mean by that, applying that to Naruto land, is she'd been set up as being super smart and super capable, but then you then introduce Shikamaru, and suddenly Shikamaru's not just smart, but he's like genius, like insanely the most smartest man alive kind of thing. So then you've then nerfed yourself a little bit, because you can't have Sakura as the smart person anymore, because she's not. You've already given that to Shikamaru. So then the whole her being top of the class, like, what do you do with that? You can't do anything anymore, because you've already set up someone who's just miles better. At least with Emi and Marcius, there was like they were neck and neck, which meant you could have both. So then they sort of, whatever she had, whatever they were setting her up to have, they then introduced someone who had that same thing but better. So you can't, so now she's, whatever you try and set her up as, it's but this person over here can do it more. So what they should have done is either not have Shikamaru as genius level, but then which would have completely nerfed Shikamaru's character, and you can't have him as amazing as he is, or you bring her up to the same level of intelligence. Like, you set her up as the master strategist, like the person who doesn't become damsel in distress, but can play a Shikamaru-like role. So she's like, hey, Kakashi's like, yo, Sakura, what do we need to do? And she's like, right, well, we do this, 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 this. Sasuke, you go do this. Naruto, you go do this. Kakashi, you stay back and do this. Like, have her play that role, and just go to the nth degree on that, I think. Yeah. Or it doesn't even have to be like a strategist role, just something. Because then they also set her up to be like a genjutsu expert. Someone like Kurenai. Like in the PS2 games, her moveset, or her jutsu and her ultimates mirrored what Kurenai's was. So I'm like, oh, they're setting her up to be like a genjutsu person like Kurenai, possibly. But then that went nowhere. So then they're like, oh, okay, well, we've already set Naruto up with Jiraiya, we've got Sasuke with Orochimaru, so then we have to set Sakura up with Tsunade, but now we just have to have her as a copy. Whereas at least the other two had some difference between their respective Sanin, whereas Sakura just became a copy. So why not? You could have like combined genjutsu and her super strength. Could have been so much. It is very much a wasted opportunity.
Here I come. I misread it. I will go.
Shino and Kona. the other thing too about her character, and I suppose Ino's character, that they kind of just dropped like a sack of spuds, was their whole rivalry and love sort of thing. They're both trying to go for the same guys, so they're like fighting each other over it. That kind of just, I can't remember if that sort of got resolved, like they sorted out their differences in the tutoring exams and that's why it got dropped. I've got a feeling it went on even after that. But that sort of went, they could have done interesting things with that, like kept that rivalry up. And at least that would have been some other aspect to both of their characters. Lovely. Oh my goodness, sorry. I felt that was going to be like a croaky cough, so I tried to mask that as much as I could. Fireball Jutsu, yes. Oh. You're preaching to the choir on that one, or preaching to the converted, should I say. It is. I have never seen something more forced than that. That is... It was literally like, okay, well, I've paired everyone else up, and I've got these two people left over, I guess I'll put them together. Just... If they could just... What they should have done is it would have been a greater character development for her if she'd just gotten over him completely. And it makes no sense for him to be in a relationship, let alone be a dad. Like, in fact, it makes even more sense. Actually, no. No, what would actually... I wouldn't... If you have to have him in a relationship, have him with some random chick that he met on his travels. Because his whole thing is that he's meant to be like traveling around the place, as like, I think he's like the Shadow Hokage or something. Like he's basically like the in the shadows spy person that helps the Hokage out. I think that's what his role is meant to be. But basically, he's just traveling around the place. Have him like on some random mission or some place that he ended up being. He met some warrior woman, I don't know, someone who's just completely unrelated to the village. Kind of like a Kratos and Faye situation. Someone that's not related to anything Kratos did in the original games. Someone different who he met randomly, but then there was like a mutual respect. You know, mutual respect and love born of that. That would have made more sense for his character. Not go off, you know, not have him go off with the chick who's had this mad crush on him from like age 5 and is kind of like a little bit obsessive, but also, you know, kind of in a toxic obsession when the object of her affection is about to kill her, like literally like has no qualms about ending her life right then and there. But then, oh yeah, I'm totally getting with him. The fact that he wanted to kill me made him even more hot. You know, it's just like, nah. Oh, also, I was doing a Naruto quiz the other day, on something, and I found I need to eat one. I don't want to be the semantics person, but they did get something quite factually incorrect. It was like a name chain thing. It was a name chain thing, so it's like, so it starts off like first question, you know, who's the main character, Naruto, and then the next question is like dot dot dot, whose rival is, and then Sasuke, and then it's like who's the object of affection for this person, then you're Sakura, who's sensei, you know, and it carries on. There's like this big name chain there. So it gets to Gaara. So can't remember what the clue was for Gaara. But then the next one is whose best friend is, and I'm like, I mean, whose best friend is? We've already done Naruto, but then are they best friends? Oh, and I guess they are. But I'm like, best friend? What? And I'm like, oh, hang on a second. And then so I typed in Kankuro, and then yes, and then he's like, who's also best friends with, and I'm like, don't tell me this one's Tamari as well. And it is, and I'm like, okay, factual inaccuracy there that I cannot excuse. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they make very clear that the Sand siblings are a thing, and that Kankuro and Tamari are older brother and sister who are deeply concerned for their younger brother. Like, I'm pretty sure they make that one quite clear from day dot. But anyway, so I'm just like, I don't, like, should I be that person, even though I think the quiz was made like 10 years ago. do I message the person and be like, yo, might want to get that one changed? do I be pedantic? You know, they're best friends, so you know, if Kankuro started developing feelings for his best friend Tamari, she can say, sorry Kankuro, I love you like a brother. And he'll be like, ah, dang. And she's like, secretly Kankuro, I found out we are brother and sister. And he's like, whoa, okay, never mind. Didn't realize we lived in Alabama then. True. 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 Or it's like, Mom, can you please like, how did you and Dad meet? And she's like, well, I had to create like an absolute all-consuming obsession with him from quite a young age. He sort of karate chopped me in the back of the neck, knocked me out when I tried to stop him from leaving the village, and then I went to go see him like several years later, and he almost killed me. Like, oh my goodness, like, oh, it was so romantic. It was amazing. And then it took like 3 years later, and then he's like, I guess I'll be with you. And I was, oh, just the best. And then Sarada's like, alright, cool. Well, my mates were saying that their parents got together more romantically, And then Sakura's like, there's nothing more romantic than trying to kill your future wife.
Battle begins.
Blade. Lovely. Okay, right. If this is fight 90 coming up, isn't it? So I might leave it there. This might be the last one. Yeah.
Battle begins.
Right, will I get a unique one?
Barring a miracle, you'll never win against me. The victor has been decided.
Yes. I think so.
Your body
So creepy. Ugh. Anyway, anywho, I think that will be it for today. So let me just update the list. Down to 5,320. All right. So, ow! Oh my god! Click my back. Oh, okay. Anyway, that will be me for today and this week. On Wednesday, I'm probably going to do a few hours of East. Thursday will be day 77, and Friday I won't be streaming, but then from then on should be normal again. But yeah, oh that's right. Yeah, no, 8 characters on Storm 2 to start with. It's fabulous, isn't it? At least the campaign is actually no, the campaign's still fairly long. It's like 20 hours, I think. But no, so hopefully your cousin enjoys it. But yeah, no, thank you for hanging out. As always, it's fabulous for your company. Stay well, stay rested, stay hydrated, stay fruity fresh. I hope your boss gets back to you soon, and hopefully it's good news. Fingers crossed. But yeah, no, have a great one. I will see you when I see you. Ciao.